Today we're going to discuss the wild and wonderful world of the Procedure Coding International Classification of Diseases Procedural Coding System, or ICD-10 PCS. ICD-10 PCS stands for the International Classification of Diseases 10th Revision Procedural Coding System, which was developed and accompanied the World Health Organization WHO ICD-10-10 Diagnosis Classification System. The procedural coding system is used to gather data collection of information, determine and payments, and support the electronic health records for all inpatient services and procedure performed in the United States. With this coding system, each character has 7-digit codes, and the characteristics that attribute to the PCS coding system is structured as 7 characters and is typically an alphanumeric code system. Each character represents the specific aspects of the medical procedure. The code will be included in the section System Root Operations, if any, performed, any devices that may have been used, and why the patient needs said procedure. Character number 1 typically has 7 characters and can be structured within an alphanumeric structure. Characteristic number 2. Each character is 7 characters in code, represents an aspect of the procedure. Character number 3. The coding process consists of assigning values from among the valid code for the part of the system. Character number 4. Each character can have up to 34 possible values, which are the number 0 to 9 and the letters A through H, J through N, P through Z, and the letters I and O are not used to avoid any confusion within the 0 and 1 process. There are 7 characters that make up the PCS codes. The first character is the character that tells where the section of where the procedure is being performed. The second character is a character that typically explains which body system the procedure is being performed on. The third character is typically explains the main goal of the procedure, example of being a drainage, excision, or bypass. The fourth character explains the part of the body that the procedure is being performed on or for. The fifth character typically explains the way the procedure is being performed. Examples such as a bypass, open, or percutaneous. The sixth character explains the device used, if any, and the seventh character tells and asks you why the procedure was needed for the patient in the first place. Chapter in PCS code books. Chapter 1 includes an overview of its history, the structure, and organization and characteristics. Chapter 2, procedures in medical and surgical sections. Chapter 3 is procedures in medical and surgical related sections. Chapter 4, procedures in ancillary sections. The PCS codebook covers sections such as medical and surgical, obstetrics, placements, administration measurements, and monitoring, and imaging, and nuclear medicine, and lastly, radiation oncology. The first scenario that I came up with was one that was that of when my grandmother had a hip replacement surgery. During the procedure, she ended up finding out that she had von Willebrand's disorder. Because she was unaware of this disorder, when the doctors proceeded to try to stitch her back up, she was not clotting as a normal person would clot, and they ended up having to provide her with blood transfusions. We could essentially look at this scenario and narrow down not only why the procedure had happened, but what was used during the procedure, as well as any necessarily life-saving techniques that they needed to use. The second scenario that came to my mind was when I was delivering my son and had to have an emergency C-section due to my son wrapping his umbilical cord around his neck and arm twice. During the event, not only did they have to have an emergency C-section, they had to emergency shoot me with 4 shots of morphine and 4 shots of epidural in less than a minute to numb me up enough to be able to have the emergency C-section. They also tried to induce me twice prior to the C-section. The last scenario that I came up with is when my cousin had to have a complete hysterectomy due to finding out that she had ovarian cancer. The way that this was dealt with is that they did a complete hysterectomy and took out all of her female reproductive organs in order to in the process. The reason why she had the female reproductive issue was because of cancer. We could essentially look at all of this information to determine the coding process. Thank you for your time and attention in this presentation.